Hey guys, welcome to your 19th C# tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to start teaching you about recursion. Um, Recursion is the process by which a method calls itself. Now what I'm going to teach you today is not um, recursion by definition, but it's a very primitive type of recursion, and it's the use of the Goto statement. This statement is used to go back to a certain point in the program. Obviously, it's Goto. Um, and if used poorly, it can create a big problem for you, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so what you start off with is you just pick a word. You can pick any word you want. I could make this crab, lettuce, blah. It doesn't matter what this word that I have highlighted is. I chose begin because it's the beginning of the program. And what you have to do is put a colon after it. Not before it, after it. Not a semicolon, a colon. Then, at some point in the program, you have to use the word go to, and then type the name, the word that you chose, crab, lettuce, blah, but I chose begin. And then put a semicolon, obviously, to end it. Now, in between, in order for this just not to be some random blank thing, I put console.writeLine hello. And now, this is potentially problematic depending on what your code is. This is not going to crash my computer unless I let it run for hours because I have 8 gigabytes of RAM in this thing. But I'm going to show you that this will create an infinite loop until I close the program. As you can see, the hello is kind of flashing down here. That's because it's just typing it over and over and over and over. And I can actually scroll up to the top here, and there's a bunch of hellos here, over and over and over and over. I'm going to close it because I don't want it to do that. Now, in order to show you better that this is actually happening, I've created a for loop that will put a time delay in between each printing out of hello. The best way to do time delay is just to make a for loop and then put a semicolon at the end so that's not actually doing anything. Make it a long, not an int. The long takes longer to process because it takes more byte space. It takes 8 bytes instead of 4, or maybe it's 16 instead of 8. I can't remember, but either way, it's twice the size of an int. So I said k long k equals 0. K is less than looks like 100 million, k plus plus. So now there will be a time delay in between each typing of hello, because it'll just skip the first begin, because it's just there, for, and then it'll take a couple seconds for it to say hello, then it'll go back, take a couple seconds to say it again. So, okay, there's the first one, second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So as you can see, this is doing an infinite loop, and it will do this up until I close the program or my computer crashes. So now I'm just going to hit the X here, and it'll close out of it. So that's basically how this works. And recursion works the exact same way unless you add something called a conditional statement. So I could add in here while int z is greater than, int y, here let's do that, is greater than, actually I think I have to declare this outside. So let me just go ahead and do int y equals 0. Okay, while int y is less than, let's just say 10. Oops. Curly brace, let me tab this over. Okay. And then curly brace. And it'll keep doing this, and I'll say y plus plus. There. Now it should only do it 10 times, unless I did something wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's still going. Still going. Oh gosh. Why that is less than 10. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Okay, so here's a something again. It got here to begin, and then it went back to begin. And it's just, even though it's inside this loop that says while y is less than 10, it's doing y plus plus, so even though it is adding to the number y, it's still not actually going back through and checking the number because it's skipping over everything. Like, you see what I mean? It starts and says, okay, y is less than 10. So let's go through, skip begin, 4, okay, print it out, y plus plus, y is now 1, go to begin, 4, to write a hello, y is now 2, go to begin, and even after it gets to 10, it'll still say go to begin, and it'll keep going back through it, and it won't actually go through this while statement again. That's bad. That is also an infinite loop. You don't want that. So basically, I wonder if I put it here, if that would fix it. Let's test this out and see if I can actually avoid this problem. Oh, there it goes. It closed. Yay. So you have to make sure that your go-to place is not inside the loop that you're trying to limit the go-to statement by. So that's basically that. And you can do it with a for loop also. You can do it with an if statement. And you can even do it like this. Let's see. Give me a moment. I'm going to type up some code and show you guys how to do it with if statement. Okay, now I have int y equals 0. If y is equal to 0, go to begin. Otherwise, go to crab. Now y does equal 0, so it should print out begin and crab. And then I actually want to get rid of that. And there's no point of that extra curly brace there. Okay, so this should print out begin and crab. Oops, forgot my consoles are readline. Should have reminded me through telepathy. Begin and crab. Not on the same line, but that's okay. Now, if I had said if y equals 1, now this will probably just print out crab. Crab, there it goes, see? This can be useful if used sparingly and if used carefully so that you don't get an infinite loop like I did in the first one. Again, use sparingly. If you have a program full of a bunch of go-to statements, that's going to be like your program's going to look like like programs used to look like 30 or 40 years ago. I'm not exactly sure how long ago, but before, when they had like spaghetti programming, because you had go-to statements all over the place, and so you'd have to go to here, and then it would say go back up here, then go down here, and then go back up there, and then it was just sending people all over the place. It was messy and awful. It was not organized. But now we are organized, so don't use a go-to statement unless you really need to. If you need to create a loop, like an infinite loop to make sure your program doesn't close itself after the first time, like if you need something to repeat itself, then either use a for loop or something else. Now if you have the go-to statement in like a different class or a different method or something, then I would probably use that, because there's not really a better way to do that. But the go-to statement can be very useful if used carefully and sparingly. So, happy programming. I will see you next time. I'll probably actually begin doing real recursion where the method calls itself, show you the ways to do that, and then after that I'll probably end up doing a stack if the stack is the same as it is in Java, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be. But anyways, I will see you then.